Okay, so a couple disclaimers here. We are recording this session. This is going to be Router Gods, the fleeing to Thailand for geeks. So you're either trying to go to Thailand for some CCIE, CCNP, CCNA studying. It also could be VMware studying. Either one is perfectly fine. You want to study some other subject, it's fine. Or you just need a couple weeks or a couple months of break. Then this is the meetup for you. Now, I've already pasted the HackPad link into chat. If you missed it, then there's the HackPad link again. This is a living document. It's continuously edited, mainly by Jeff Denton, James Shallow, and myself, but anyone who's been to Thailand can add stuff to it. Jeff has probably done 95% of everything. James has done a fair amount, and I kind of did a lot of the pictures and stuff, along with 5% of the text. So a couple disclaimers. This one is being recorded, so keep this PG-13 or PG, because and if you ask questions in the chat, I'll just refer to it as a question. I won't use your name, so don't I won't say like Bob has asked this question. Also, this meetup and this session is completely independent of Cisco. Even though I'm a Cisco employee, everything that I say is not necessarily that of Cisco. As you're looking through the hackpad, you probably see that this damn thing is huge. It is 40,000 characters long, or 40,000 characters. I guess 40,000 characters long. So this is a massive document. It will continue to grow. It'll probably grow to like 50,000 characters at least. We try to be as complete as possible, but sometimes we may miss something. Now, in 45 minutes, there's no way we can cover everything in this document, and really we shouldn't. So we're just going to hit the high points here. High points are money, visas and immigration, the cities that you should stay in, how much it's going to cost, and kind of how the successful people have done studying in Thailand. All right, and if you have other topics you want to hit, uh, you know, then you can put them in chat, or put them in chat, and maybe we'll get to them if we have time. All right. Okay. So there are about 8 people in the room right now. Um, so out of the 8 people, how many of you have never been outside of the U.S.? Who has never been outside the U.S.? That will give me a kind of a baseline of what topics to concentrate on. And we have someone who doesn't have their audio connected. All right, so everyone that can hear me has been outside the U.S. All right. Okay, so what we have now is, let's talk about some cities, the different cities within Thailand. If we go to a map of Thailand, it's probably better if I do it this way. So let's take a look at the map of Thailand. Let's go through basic geography. Here we go. Okay, so Thailand obviously is in Asia. It's kind of this long island, this long country-looking thing, kind of like a Italy almost, sort of like a Italy. It's surrounded by places like Burma, Laos, Vietnam, Cambodia. This would be Southeast Asia. To the north is China. To the west is India. To get to Thailand from the US, there's a couple ways to go here. Usually the main exit cities are places like Los Angeles, San Francisco, and New York. There are other cities that go as well. I think Seattle will also go to Thailand. And then there are very few direct flights. So what you're probably going to do 95% of the time is you are going to fly to either Tokyo, Seoul, or Taiwan, sometimes Hong Kong. So Hong Kong, Taiwan. Usually it's going to be Taiwan. That's like the main hub of Asia. You're probably going to have a couple hours layover in Taiwan at their wonderful airport, and then you'll hop on another flight, about a 3.5 hour flight into Bangkok. So total hours from the U.S. is usually around 17 hours in the air. So it's a pretty decently long flight. Once you get into Thailand, you're going to land in Bangkok, which is the main mega city. But Bangkok. If you haven't visited Bangkok before, you could probably spend a month in Bangkok and still not see everything. And we'll talk about some of the pluses and minuses of staying long term in Bangkok. But there are other cities as well. If you go up north, you have what's called Chiang Mai. And Chiang Mai is somewhere up here. So up north, Chiang Mai, it's kind of near Burma and Laos. So Chiang Mai is significantly cooler than Bangkok. It's still in the summertime. It's still hot, but it's not as hot as Bangkok. And the cost of living is significantly less than Bangkok. In fact, we'll talk about some of the resources that list out and rank out the different cities for remote workers and IT workers and stuff like that. And Chiang Mai basically comes out as number one or number two, depending on who you ask. South of Bangkok, we have a couple cities. We have the beach city of Pattaya, slightly less, slightly lower cost of living than Bangkok. You're by the ocean. The beach isn't that great, but some people kind of like living by the beach. And then down here, kind of in the south, we have islands. Well, not islands, but well, we do have islands down here, but we also have beach cities like Krabi and Phuket and stuff like that. So these are more touristy towns. As a remote worker or someone studying, these are viable um, in the low season. I don't necessarily know if you would want to go there in the high season for a long term thing, but for a couple days, for a week, it's just fine. Okay, so that's the basic geography of Thailand. Any questions about the basic geography and the cities and stuff like that? Okay. All right, let's continue. So let's talk about some of these places here. So Bangkok is going to be the place that's the most metropolitan. If you're used to a Los Angeles, if you're used to a uh, okay, so we have a question: driving time to some of the cities. Um, that's a good question. So when you land in Bangkok, if you're going from Bangkok to Pattaya, you can make it there in about 3 hours. This is someone else's driving. I would never recommend anyone drive themselves in Thailand. Just from a safety issue, it. I mean, you only live once, right? So you can rent a motorbike, kind of ride around town and stuff like that. I know people have done it, but you just the laws are different in Thailand, and the safety is different. Thailand has one of the worst traffic death rates, uh, accident rates, death rates in the world, and I will emphasize that in the world. So yeah, don't drive in Thailand. Also, you're going to be picked out as a foreigner. You're going to police are a lot different. They'll pull you over and fine you for weird stuff too. But from Bangkok to Pattaya down here, you can make it in about 3 hours. Bangkok to Chiang Mai, it's probably easier to fly or take a bus. This is Asia, so keep in mind taking a bus and flying is going to be significantly cheaper. And then Bangkok to Phuket, you're probably going to fly. That's going to be about an hour or so. There's also trains and stuff, which we'll talk about later. Yes, there are public train systems. We'll get to that transportation system. Okay, so getting back to Bangkok, it is going to be probably your most expensive city. Now, when we say most expensive, you can go sky's the limit on condos. You can spend 3,000 a month in Bangkok for a condo, for a crazy condo. Or what you could do is you can get an apartment for. I've seen people get apartments as cheap as $200 a month. But you're going to have that obviously that $200 a month is not going to be as good as the $3,000 a month. But there's a happy median in between of $400 to $800 will get you a pretty decent place to live, as long as you don't want like Uber amenities. Once you start getting into expatriate sections of the city, kind of like lower Sukhumvit, which we'll talk about, then you're talking about $1,000 a month and higher. So keep that in mind for the expenses. It does have most of the things to do. So if we take a kind of like zoom into Bangkok, you'll see that this is a massive city. It's you can almost think of it as like an Asian New York or a dirtier, a dirtier, crazier Singapore. So this city is massive. This green, we have two main mass transportation systems. Well, actually three. The primary one would be the bus system that you will probably not take. Foreigners can take them, but it's going to be the Thai people. It's very, very cheap. It's like 30 cents. It's some crazy cheap amount. But usually all the signs are in Thai, and it's only Thai people, and you're going to breathe in pollution. The second one is going to be what's called the Skytrain. The Skytrain is, you'll see this icon right here. Kind of looks like a Y, like this blue, kind of a blue and red icon. And so that's a really good one to take. It kind of goes all around town, goes across the river and stuff like that, goes up north a little bit. And then the last one, the third one, is going to be the subway. And the subway connects to the Skytrain in certain places, kind of like Asok right here. So, oh, Asok's over here. There we go. So where you see the M, it's called the MRT. MRT is the subway. The SkyTrain, the initials for that is called BTS. So if you say BTS, most people know it as the SkyTrain, or you can just say SkyTrain. The cost for this is very cheap. You can ride across town for 30 bucks, so like a buck will get you across town. If you just need to go one station, it's like 50 cents. So I mean, it's dirt cheap for Americans. For Thais, it's a little bit. I mean, it's still okay, but you'll see the kind of a more well-to-do folks, Thai folks, taking the SkyTrain and the subway. Uh, a lot of the Thais will take the bus. Okay. Yeah, lots of distractions. Very easy to find computer parts. So if you're bringing servers, if you're bringing laptops, you're afraid about the hard drive dying and stuff like that, then Bangkok is the way to go. We have a question. What about taxis? So um, taxis sometimes might be the only way of getting somewhere. Taxis, when you first get into a taxi, it's 35 baht initially for the flag fall, so it's like a buck basically to start, and then it is amazingly cheap. You can be in a taxi for 30 minutes going somewhere, and it might turn out to be in the end $2, $3, something like that. A taxi from the airport, so the airport's way the hell out here. If you take a taxi into the city, it's probably going to take 30 to 45 minutes, depending on traffic. And there's always traffic in Bangkok. And that cost is generally 250 baht to 300 baht, which is somewhere in the neighborhood of 8 to 10 bucks. So it's not too crazy. Um, if if possible, um, I usually take the SkyTrain. I kind of look at where I want to go. I can usually take the SkyTrain and the MRT to most places, but sometimes you just want air conditioning right away, and you don't want to walk to the station. So then the taxis are okay. So let's talk about some of the areas within Bangkok. Some areas that you may want to stay. Let's see. Okay. So as we zoom in, we kind of hit downtown Bangkok. Downtown Bangkok is Siam Station, the SkyTrain station. This has the famous Siam Paragon Mall, Central World Mall. MBK Mall's over here to the left here. This area, you're probably not going to stay in this area because this is all like the central business district. I'll I'll throw my cursor down here just so you can see. Let's go right here. Boom. So this is basically high-rise heaven right here, and that's the Skytrain with elevated walkway and stuff. Where you're probably going to live, there's different places to live that I would recommend. So over here, if you want to live when a if you want to live in a place with a lot of foreigners, you feel it's your first time in Thailand, so you want to feel a little bit comfortable, then Lower Sukhumvit is the place. Now Sukhumvit is a long ass yellow road, Sukhumvit Road. I believe it might be one of the largest roads in the world. It goes on freaking forever. So Lower Sukhumvit, what we're saying there is this is the lower number of alleyways. So as you go to the right, as you go east on Sukhumvit, the numbers go up. And as you can see here, it's kind of interesting with how they do their addresses. So Sukhumvit is the main road, but coming off of Sukhumvit are streets, and they go by numbers. So Soy Sukhumvit 3. You can almost think of it as small Sukhumvit number 3, small Sukhumvit number 5, Sukhumvit number 7. You can see the method to the madness. This is going up by odd numbers. And then it gets kind of crazy sometimes because then they'll go 7/1, 9, 11, 11/1. So when, it's when they built 11 and they built 13, they had to squeeze something in the middle, so they did a slash in there. Now, if the odd numbers are on the north side, then you can probably imagine the even numbers are on the bottom, on the south side. So you can see Sukhumvit 2, Nana, which is Sukhumvit 4. We've got Sukhumvit 8. So that's how they do their numbering system. So this area right here, Lower Sukhumvit, a lot of foreigners like living here. So if you're here for like a 1 or 2 week vacation, lots of hotels in this area. And you're going to pay about $50 to $100 per night for hotels in this area. So it's good for short-term stuff. 1 or 2 weeks is completely fine in this area. If you have a lot of money, well, not a lot, but a decent amount of money, you can get condos in this area as well. But if you're going to be living a little bit more longer term, like a month, couple months, then I suggest that you're going to be going a little bit away from downtown. It's kind of like for every city in the world, the closer to downtown you are, the more expensive. So you're going to be going down here, little down the Skytrain, kind of like in this area right here, Donglo or Ekamai. You could also go north a little bit. You could follow the subway, this M right here. You could follow the subway up, kind of here where the Chinese embassy is, People's Chinese Embassy. And there are apartments and condos around here. And actually, Satara Place is a place I stayed, and I have a link to a video review that I did. This place was $400 a month, and it was really good. The only problem is it's very popular, so it's going to be tough sometimes to find vacancies. I'll just give you a quick look-see of how their rooms look like. Image gallery. Right, so that's pretty much exactly how the room looked like. Pretty decent, not too bad. I mean, for $400 a month, that was utilities included. Can't really complain. And a maid would come in 3 times a week to fix it up. So decent place. What you could also do is you could go kind of in a different direction. You could go kind of like up here to RE, Victory Monument, even kind of like in the northwest corner where everything ends for the subway system right here, Chatujak Park. So this area is really nice too for a decent condo. Here I was able to get a condo, a really nice condo. It's linked in the Airbnb links. It was in this area somewhere. Yeah, this is right here, Abstracts Park. $35 a night through Airbnb. Excellent stuff. So it's basically someone already owns the condo and they're just renting it out to get extra money. So that's kind of like an overview of places to live in Bangkok. Questions about that? let's see. Let's talk about some malls here. Why are malls important? Malls are very important because they're going to give you kind of like a main landmark to gather at. Air conditioning is very important because it's freaking hot in Thailand. There's Starbucks inside. There's electronic stores where you can get maybe if your hard drive dies or something, you can quickly run into there. So malls are very, very important places in Thailand. And also, if you make friends in Thailand, either Thai friends or American friends or British friends or whoever, malls will often be used as landmarks for meeting places. So let's meet inside Central World or let's meet inside MBK or stuff like that. So the main malls in Thailand that are cool are Siam Paragon right here. Siam Paragon is an awesome mall. Several coffee shops and stuff like that. We have Central World. You can kind of see what's happening here. We got a mall here, Central World. We got a mall here, Siam Paragon. We have another mall here, Siam Center, Siam Discovery, and MBK. We have lots and lots of malls. And they're also building, they have malls on Sukhumvit. If we go down here, okay, down here we've got the wonderful Terminal 21, which is an awesome mall. As we scroll down, we have the Emporium, which is kind of like a really high class shopping mall, M Quartier, which is also a really high class shopping mall. So those types of places are really, really important. Now, for Thailand, Central is a big conglomerate of malls. So there's Central World, Central Embassy. Oh, I forgot Central Embassy. Central Embassy is over here. So you'll see like Central Embassy, Central Chitlom, Central this, Central that. So those are different malls owned by the same company. It's kind of like in the USA, there's called Westfield. So Westfield this, Westfield that, same concept. So we have a question, what about crime in the area? So I have never, other than being a reporter and getting shot at as a reporter, that's because I'm actually going into crazy situations. I've never been a victim of crime as a tourist. And I think a big part of that, it's in the hack pad, but I don't drink. So I tend to cut out a lot of the riffraff that would have happened if I get involved in alcohol and stuff like that. Um, so cutting down on the drinking, associating with decent people will get you very far in terms of avoiding crime. I've never been pickpocketed, never had anything stolen, and that's because I would like to think I'm a fairly smart traveler, mitigate risks and stuff like that. Okay. And all of this in Thailand, going from place to place in Thailand, you step on the Skytrain. You can get what's called a rabbit card, which we talk about in the Hackpad. And all a rabbit card is you prepay a card, you put money in a card, and it just continuously deducts from that card. It's like a cash card. And it makes life very simple when you're taking the Skytrain all over the place. And what I suggest is if you visit Thailand, whether it's for long term or short term, your first day you get there, just load up $10 on that card and just go to every freaking SkyTrain station. Just look at the map and just go, okay, I'm going to go a south or a west as far as I can. Like you can go freaking far. I can go east as much as I can. I can go north as much as I can. Exit out every station, kind of look around. Nothing that interests you, just go back on the SkyTrain. Same thing for the subway. Just go on the subway and kind of go around in different directions, see which stations have the best stuff. I do this for every city I go to. I just take the subway and just kind of go around. Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. I do that trick all the time. Just kind of look at stuff. And often they'll have a like a 1 day pass, so a tourist pass or 1 day pass where you just pay like a set amount and it gets you unlimited rides. So for situations like that, that is a really good deal. Okay, SkyTrain hours. SkyTrain hours. Well, I have a link. I should have a link in here to SkyTrain, but it The last, I don't want to put my foot in the mouth. Um, I think it's midnight or a little bit after midnight. Um, so yeah, it does. It doesn't run 24 hours, and I think the earliest train is something like 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. something like that. So after the Skytrain stops, then you'll have to take taxis or motorcycle taxis or walk, but that usually is not a problem. Best ways to exchange money. Best ways to exchange money. Money exchange. Um, Inside of malls are good. There is a money exchanger called. I should have put the name of that. I'll have to enter it in the hackpad. There's a money exchange place that I favor that gives the best rates. Uh, Also, what you can do is if you have an ATM card, you can put your ATM card and withdraw in ThaiBot. We have a section in there for the best ATM cards to get because if you use your regular bank card, you're going to have a little nasty surprise. You're going to have a big surprise when you come back to the U.S. because you will be charged um, a foreign transaction fee, which is $6, $6 to $7, on top of a currency conversion fee, which is usually $3. So um, I have heard of people coming back to the U.S. and their charges are in the $100 range for fees and conversion, and that's just kind of the way it goes. If you have something like a Charles Schwab, a decent Citibank card, and some other cards, you all of that stuff is refunded. Is it always crowded? Yes, it's Asia. It's Bangkok. Asia's crowded. Um, yeah, it's crowded. Where do you normally eat? I eat in the malls, or you can eat street food or 7-Eleven. We have a section for food as well. Medical needs. We have a section for medical needs. See, all these questions we've already anticipated. So the main hospital, we'll talk about that because that's pretty important. So here, if we take a look at Sukhumvit, the best hospital in Thailand is called Bumrungrad International Hospital. This is a private hospital. A lot of the doctors come to the U.S. to do their residencies, and sometimes it could be like Harvard Medical. They could have gone to medical school in the U.S. as well. So they, for the most part, speak very good English. It's paid in cash, and I'll give you an idea of the costs. Uh, I saw a cardiologist for some potential high blood pressure stuff. It turned out nothing. Like it was just a blip in the radar on the reading. But I was like, well, screw it. I'm already here. I might as well see the cardiologist. So they hooked me up to this machine for 24 hours. I had to wear it around. I saw the cardiologist twice. And the total bill came out to be $150. That was it, $150. And I was able to see the doctor in 10 minutes. There's very little waiting, and there's a Starbucks and McDonald's in the parking in the lower floor. So it's really awesome. Now, as far as other stuff, like if you see a doctor, generally the fee will be in the neighborhood. I mean, the cardiologist is the most expensive, and it's about like $75 to see a cardiologist. And then whatever medications, but medications are cheap as well. So if you have any medical issues, I highly recommend just going to Bumrungrad. If you haven't done a physical in a while, you can get like a pretty awesome physical for like 100, $200. And they give you all the x-rays, all the tests. You get all the data to carry back to the United States. So if you look up medical tourism in Bumrungrad, that's like one of the top places to go, where people, if you don't have insurance in the U.S., people will fly to Thailand and do their stuff. Dentists as well. Dentists are pretty cheap in Thailand as well. Now, as far as emergencies, Thailand does not have a decent emergency medical system. So the United States, we have EMTs and paramedics. There is no such thing in Thailand. So in Thailand, if you get hurt, basically what they do, they chuck you in a pickup truck and they drive you to a hospital that pays the most money. So you're bleeding. If you get hit by a car, and they pick you up and they throw you in the pickup truck. There is no holding of the C-spine. There is no putting a immobilizing the neck or immobilizing the arm or anything like that. There is no direct pressure or any of that bullshit. Not bullshit, but any of that. They just put you in the pickup truck and you're going to the hospital. So um, keep that in mind. Sometimes it may be better just to get a taxi and go to the hospital. So that's a little bit different. So prevention is very much key. That is true. There is no formal EMT paramedic thing. Now that's not to say you could have like some guy who tries to go above and beyond, but you generally won't find that. He might look the part, but it'll be very rare to have someone like that. And a lot of that has to do with the Buddhist culture. The Buddhist culture is very much don't interfere in other people's stuff. So, in kind of a weird way, when you're hurt, um, a westernized Thai will probably help you. Will ask what's going on, but if you're hurt in the road, generally you're left alone. So that's that's a little bit different. And by the way, James has joined. If you haven't figured it out, and he is living in Thailand right now. Uh, I have spent the last 4 or 5 years. I've spent at least 4 to 6 months each year in Thailand. And this year, unfortunately, this year will be the year I missed the 4 to 6 months. So, but yeah, Bumrunga Hospital, thumbs up. Now I have heard people go to there's this other hospital, Mahidol or something. It's the one the king goes to. He's had really good. He has raved about the quality of care there, and he said they all spoke English, and the prices were basically 1/3 of Bumrungat. So he was able. I think he broke his arm. He freaking broke his arm, so they put it in a cast. They did the X-rays, and I think it cost something like $20, or some insanely cheap amount. So there is that. That would be a public hospital versus a private hospital. Bumrungat it is a hike if you don't know how to get here, but if you're in this area already, it's definitely okay. Uh, Actually, it makes sense because my buddy's living around Democracy Monument, so he just hikes, takes the taxi up here and down. Okay, we have a question. Did you mention the conversion rate? I have a link in here to the xe.com. The conversion rate right now is hovering around, it might have hit 36. It's probably high 35s to 36. Okay, 35.5. So I just for simplicity's sake, I just do everything by 30s. It's an easier conversion for like a quick and dirty type thing. As a general rule, and this is it's very general. Um, if if you look at your money in the U.S. and taking it to Thailand and converting it, generally you're going to see kind of a 3 to 1 in terms of quality of living, standard of living. So what I mean by that is if you're looking at a $1,500 per month apartment in the US, you can get a comparable apartment, give or take, if you divide that by 3. So if you're looking at a $500 a month, that should equate to a $1,500 a month type of thing, if that makes sense. Um, if you take a look at a meal, let's say, in most places, a $5 meal in Thailand after conversion will equal something to like a $10 to $15 meal in the US, give or take. And now electronics is completely different. Electronics usually is going to be higher, but I mean you could probably find some deals here and there. But as a general cost of living, it's going to be 3 to 1. Okay, what time are we looking at? 39. Okay, we got 6 more minutes. Let's concentrate on the immigration stuff. And then we can have a part 2 later if we want. So as an American citizen, you jump into Thailand, just take your passport, you get 30 days. No problem. They'll just stamp your passport, they'll put a little sheet of paper in your passport, and don't lose that piece of paper. Well, it's not a big deal if you lose it, but I mean, it is kind of a big deal, but just try not to lose it. So you get 30 days. Now here's the rub. The first day counts as a day. So when you land, that's the clock starts ticking. So I've actually run into this problem twice coming back. It's like, oh, you overstayed. Like, what? Oh, yeah, we count the first day. Crap. All right. Now, if you go over, it is bad, but up until a certain point, it's just a $500 fine per day. Now, if you're over 1 day, it's free. It's like a gimme. But after that, it's $500 a day. If you're overstayed by too long, it gets really bad because anytime a cop stops you, check the passport, theoretically he could haul you in and take you to jail. And it's not going to be the regular jail; it's going to be the immigration jail, which is a place you probably don't want to go. If you want to stay longer, you have many options to do. Um, the you have going out and coming back in, reset the clock. You can do that. If you do that too many times, they start looking at you a little bit funny. You can get a visa before you come into the U.S. Get like a multiple entry, 60 days each. So every 60 days you have to pop out, come back in. Now you can extend that for 30 days in the country, and kind of push it to 90 days for each cycle. And you could also do that for the 30-day when you land with just your passport. You can extend that inside the country another 30 days without leaving. But it kind of depends. If you're going to leave the country anyways for a trip, then just do that. It's not a big deal. It gives you a chance to visit places like Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam, Cambodia, Burma if you want, those type of places, Australia. We have a question. Do you always carry your passport or ID card? I do not. I do not carry. I leave my passport in the safe and I make a copy. I carry the copy. Because the last thing I want to do is lose my passport. Now, there are cases where you need your passport. If you're exchanging money, some of the some like 50% of the money exchangers want to see your passport. The other 50% they could care less. Okay, so you get to Thailand, you kind of get your hotel. Let's say you get your hotel for a week or two while you're looking for apartments because you want to stay like a couple months. What I suggest, I highly suggest that you kind of walk the neighborhoods that you want to rent in because you're going to see signs out for like places to rent and stuff like that. The whole Craigslist thing and the looking through Facebook and stuff like that, that's cool and everything, but they're targeting that towards foreigners, and the prices are going to be high. Um, you're still going to be hit. They're still going to try to charge you a little bit more because you're a foreigner, but in many cases, if you do your shopping, you can probably find a decent deal for $800,000 a month. Will get you a really decent place if you're not right in the center of Bangkok. So you kind of walk around, find your place, and then you're probably going to want to find a decent study spot to go to every day, kind of as your regular thing. Because if you don't have a regular routine, and I think James will probably back me up on this, and Jeff too, just not on, but he would back me up. Um, it is very easy in Thailand to waste your day. And I mean, you're going to have fun, waste your day, and then you blink, and the next thing you know, it's 5 p.m., and you haven't read one page, you haven't done anything productive, but it's been fun, right? And then you go, okay, I'll do it the next day. And next day comes, and you do the exact same thing. So what happens? A week goes by, and you've had fun, but you've done absolutely nothing. So you need a routine of basically saying, okay, at this time, I'm going to go to this coffee shop, this co-working space, start reading. Like you got to force yourself to be productive. So there's co-working places that are pretty cool. I went with a couple with James. Very sociable places. They're clean. I get to meet people. Some of them have food. They have drinks. Um, there's different ones in different places. There's coffee shops, which I'm a big fan of. Going to a Starbucks, a True Cafe, a Holly's. This is where you can kind of look at the people walking. You can like look at the crowds while still getting your studying done. And Jeff put in there, can be loud and crowded. Yes, they can. Headphones. I always have earplugs with me in Thailand. Anytime you travel, have earplugs. Have earplugs to for the noise. Um, Great places. I love coffee shops in Thailand. You can spend hours and hours in a coffee shop. Another option is when you get a condo, an apartment, or hotel room, get one with a nice balcony. Like this was one of mine that I got in Pattaya. I remember this one was $1,000 a month, so it was a little, it was up there for Pattaya. But reason I got it was I saw the balcony, and fit my laptop just fine, books and stuff, boom. So that's another thing. Now, another tip is when you're looking at apartments and hotels and stuff like that, make sure there's some type of market nearby, like a 7-Eleven or like a Big C or something like that, so you could buy supplies. You can walk downstairs, buy supplies, get your food, and come up because you want to kind of minimize the time you spend gathering supplies, and that will maximize the amount of time you have for labbing and reading and that type of stuff. Because it can be very, you go downstairs, you say, it's only going to take 20 minutes to get my food, but you find out it actually takes, 45 minutes later, you come back up. So if you have, even better is if your condo or apartment has a 7-Eleven or a market connected to it, you just go downstairs, grab your stuff, grab your snack, come back up. Okay, 6:45. We have one question I'll answer here. I get my workouts in 5 days a week. Are there gyms available? So I personally have not uh, subscribed to a gym. There are gyms there, but I don't know the costs of the gyms and stuff like that. Okay, so we're gonna finish this up. We're gonna have part two, probably part three, part four, whatever. The video recording will be available. One final thing, or a couple final things. The Bangkok Youth Center right here. If you live in this area, the price for this is something like $10 a year. I mean, it's some crazy cheap price for this, and it's got like a gym, martial arts, that type of stuff. There's also parks kind of strewn around Bangkok, like Lumpini. There's I like this one, Benchakti. I like Bensari. Like these parks have like really good like biking courses and running courses. Now jogging in Thailand, oh boy, jogging with the humidity is definitely a workout. Just freaking walking around town is a workout. So lots of free places, but like for weights and machines and stuff like that, there are gyms and stuff. For the English question, yeah, if the more Thai you learn, obviously the better. But if you go into Thailand just with English, and as long as you stay in like Bangkok or Pattaya or the tourist places, completely fine, no problems at all. I mean, you're not going to starve. You can just go into a restaurant, point at stuff. It works out fine. You'll have no problems. But they would appreciate it if you learn some Thai as you live there a bit longer. So we're going to stop this here. We're going to put the link up after this renders and stuff. We'll put the link up. Probably won't happen today, but maybe tomorrow. And we're going to have a part two. We're going to continue on because this is going to, yeah, this is going to take a while to kind of cover all the details.